Evening. It is 5:45, so I will call to order the June 6th, 2024 regular meeting of the Hendersonville City Council. We begin our meetings with a silent invocation for people to pray or meditate as they choose, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll rise, please. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag one nation under indivisible with liberty. Thank you. Okay. We begin with public comment. Nobody has signed up for public comment in person. Is there anyone online seeking recognition for public comment?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have one hand raised.
Okay, if you would call for that person, please.
Lynn, you are unmuted.
Good evening, Lynn Williams, Chadwick Avenue. I'm thankful that you're going to be honoring the D-Day veterans today. Thank you for doing that. I did want to honor my own grandfather, Albert Brown Hendricks. He served in World War II. It's a pretty emotional day, as most of the veterans are no longer here with us. And also my grandmother's brother-in-law, my grandmother's brother, Harry Byers, he was the founding guard of the American Legion here in Hendersonville. So I just wanted to speak their name specifically. Thank you. Have a great night.
Okay, thank you. Well, you have the agenda in front of you. Is there anything you would like to add to or remove from this evening's agenda?
I would actually like to pull the agreement for Apple Country Transit funding and add it under new business under, sorry, I need to do that later.
We can do that under the consent agenda. You can pull it from the consent agenda.
Okay.
You want to talk about it, but just in a different
Yes, thank you.
spot.
I'll
Okay, do that under the consent agenda. Anything else? Anyone?
Good.
Okay,
Madam Mayor, I move the City Council approve the agenda as presented.
is there any discussion? Not those in favor of the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and we have our agenda. Now, is there anything anyone would like to have moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda so it can be discussed? Okay.
I would like to pull item F
Okay.
from the consent agenda on and see if we could add it under new
Okay.
business. 8B,
Yes.
thank you.
Anything else? Or if not, a motion to approve the remaining items on the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor, I move the City Council approve the consent agenda as amended.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor of approving the consent agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and the rest of those have been taken care of. We have several presentations this evening. The first is a proclamation honoring the 80th anniversary of D-Day. And is there going to be someone accepting this? Or-
No, ma'am, I
Should
think
we
we just do it in honor of D-Day
Okay.
for the city.
Okay, I will do that then. In remembrance of the 80th anniversary of D-Day, June 6, 2024. Whereas on June 6, 1944, scores of Allied service members prepared to fight a battle that would decide the fate of the freedom in the 20th century. And whereas on D-Day, American, British, and Canadian forces advanced through thickets of barbed wire and scaled heavily protected cliffs. They braved gales of bullets and artillery fire, taking heavy losses as they cut through Nazi defenses. Thousands gave their last full measure of devotion. And whereas victory on D-Day dealt a significant blow to an ideology fueled by hatred, and allowed America and its allies to secure a foothold in France, open a path to Berlin, and liberate a continent from the grip of tyranny. And whereas victory on D-Day made possible the achievements that followed the end of World War II, the Marshall Plan, the NATO alliance, and the shared prosperity and security that flowed from each. And whereas 80 years later, we pay tribute to the service members who secured a beachhead on an unforgiving shore, the patriots who, through their courage and sacrifice, changed the course of an entire century. And whereas today, as we carry on the struggle for liberty and universal human rights, let us draw strength from a moment when the free nations beat back the forces of oppression and gave new hope to the world. Now, therefore, I, Barbara Volk, Mayor of the City of Hendersonville, do hereby proclaim that on the 80th anniversary of D-Day, Thursday, June 6, 2024, the residents of the City of Hendersonville observe this day with programs, ceremonies, and activities that honor those who fought and died, so men and women they had never met might know what it is to be free. Thank you. Next, we have the Hendo Earthfest report. Ann Twiggs.
Thank you for this opportunity to inform you about the second annual Hendo Earthfest, project of the city's Environmental Sustainability Board. You see in front of you, the council members anyway, a bag that we gave out to our attendees with a sustainably manufactured notepad in it. The goal of the festival is to celebrate and promote environmental education, inspire action, and renew and expand commitments to protect our mountain habitats and our planet. For the past 2 years, the Hendo Earth Fest took place on the third Saturday in April from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the 400 and 500 blocks of Main Street and on Fifth Avenue and the Maple parking lot across from City Hall. As you can see, the Hendo Earth takes much planning, and our subcommittee started working and meeting monthly in September of 2023. Then we met every other week in February and March, and weekly in April. As you can see, our partners represent both the community at large and our local environmentally focused nonprofits. We were pleased to add the Blue Ridge Bicycle Club to our subcommittee this year. Visitors and exhibitors and musicians doubled from last year. While the city's drone estimated only 1,000 people attended this year, we had volunteers with clickers at each of the 3 exits, and they counted about 4,000. So, I don't know. We had more than last year, that's for sure. We added many new exhibitors, such as the Western North Carolina Repair Cafe, the Waterfall Keepers, Kudzu Warriors, and the historic Johnson Farms. While the Blue Ridge EV Club did not participate this year, we had several privately owned EVs on display and an EV from Hunter Volvo and an EV Amazon delivery truck. Exhibitors related that they interacted with more kids and families this year. Another stated that attendees were surprised at how many environmentally focused groups there are in the area. One exhibitor reported that they had a visitor from Asheville who said our festival was much more exciting and extensive than Asheville's Earth Day celebration. Kudos to us. Mike Huffman from the Hendersonville Water and Sewer reported that attendees loved seeing the stormwater demo. Besides the feedback QR code, we asked attendees to write their impressions on poster board. Some comments were great people, info and energy, excellent vendors. Many attendees mentioned enjoying the music, which included the Atomic Sisterhood, Michelle Skeel on Native American flute, and the community co-op sing-along Hoot. Mayor Volk read the city's Earth Day proclamation and commented in her remarks about the wealth of exhibitors and nonprofits who are supporting sustainability initiatives in our community. We hope to move the festival to South Main Street next year and continue to build on the event by implementing lessons learned from our debriefing meetings. We invite all City Council members to attend next year's Hendo Earth Fest to experience the excitement and fun firsthand. So put Saturday, April 19th, 2025 on your calendar now. And thank you again for allowing the ESB to present on this unique city project.
Well, we thank you and the committee, everyone involved. I thought it was a great turnout.
Thank you.
For just the second year.
Yeah,
You did
yeah.
wonderful with the number of vendors and exhibitors and
The energy was
the
good, and it
attendance.
was, everybody was very positive. And this year, it didn't rain, hail, and thunder the evening before, like it stopped at 7 o'clock in the morning in 2023. We didn't know what was going to happen. Anyway, thank you so much for allowing me to present.
thank you. Anyone want to comment?
I'll just throw a shout out to Anne and the committee and the full ESB because they have really taken this idea and run with it. And the amount of growth that they've been able to have with this event over just doing it for 2 years it's really remarkable for a group of volunteer community members to pull something like this together. So thank you.
Next, we have a presentation by Alan Yeck from the Veterans Healing Farm.
Hi, folks. Thanks for, wow, this mic is great. I've had others where I was right up on it. My name is Al Yuck. I'm the Executive Director for the Veterans Healing Farm. Thank you for allowing me here today to present. Not everyone who died in war died in combat. Not everyone who came home ever left the war. Invisible wounds like PTSD have claimed more lives at home than were lost in combat. 20 consecutive years with 6,000 plus veteran suicides. 131,000 veterans have died by suicide since 2001. It is the second leading cause of veterans' death for those 45 and under. The mission of the Veterans Healing Farm is to enhance the mental, emotional, and physical well-being of our nation's veterans and their families. And I emphasize families because there's some wonderful organizations out there, wonderful organizations that do things for the veteran. We recognize that anybody returning to the family unit that is hurting, the entire family unit hurts. So we open it up to everybody, and that's our programming is for everybody. Our vision is an end to veteran suicide. We go into our 11th year right now. This is the Veterans Memorial Garden. We accomplish our mission through 3 primary programs. The first one is agritherapy. This garden is dedicated to Corporal Matthew Bolar, a Hendersonville native, killed in action for his country. And I'd also like to recognize his mother, who's here today, Ann Atkins. Everything that's grown at the Veterans Healing Farm is donated back to the community. To date, we're about 70,000 pounds of produce. The veterans, the agritherapy side is about veterans working together outside in the soil and not a production farm. So that's why it's easy to give back what we grow. This is at the Charles George VA Medical Center. Every year we will hit that. 3 years ago, we started expanding. Before, it was just the Charles George VA Medical Center. But since then, recognizing the need in our own community, we give to the Veterans Restoration Quarters, a 200-bed male veteran homeless shelter. I Am Food Pantry. This is at the VA. We also grow flowers. And this is Building 9, which is the mental health building facility at the Charles George VA. Under our agritherapy, we also have beekeeping. Nobody has to know how to do anything when they come to the farm. You don't have to know how to be a beekeeper. You don't have to know how to farm or garden. We'll teach you. Or you don't have to do anything. Just come and be is what we say. Just come and be together. That camaraderie, that shared culture is so important. Similar to what we do with our produce, the beekeepers can keep whatever they want, but otherwise we give all of our honey away. Last year it was 8 gallons. This year our hives have been hit, so it'll be a little less, but the program continues. This is our medicinal herb garden, another part of our agrotherapy. We have 68 different medicinal herbs in there. This is run by the Director of Plant Medicine, Rebecca Van. We go with medicinal herbs because the big 3 for veterans are sleep disorders, anxiety, and inflammation. So if we can use a plant to have one less pill from Pfizer that the veterans are taking, then it's a victory. So this is our medicinal herb garden. Thank you, Jennifer. And this is an ongoing program. Right now, she probably has 68 volunteers signed up, 20 or so that participate on a regular basis. This is one of the workshops we do. So I talked about our agrotherapy program. The other program are the workshops we do. All the workshops we do are either therapeutic or actual therapies. Last year we did 49 workshops for 477 participants. This is equine therapy. We work with other veteran organizations in the area. This is Heart of Horse Sense that comes down for when we were running our equine therapy program. This is Warrior Canine Connection, based out of Asheville. They're a national organization with an Asheville office. They come to the farm for our canine therapy. We also started, when we took over 3 years ago, we recognized that veteran suicide is disproportionately higher than anywhere in the community, but it's a crisis in the entire nation. We started suicide prevention workshops, and we open these up to everyone that wants to come. So in the last 2 years, we have trained 68 community members in suicide prevention. It's a 2-hour workshop, and our goal is to have everybody participate, no different than someone learning first aid or the Heimlich or CPR or suicide prevention. It's at that point, and as it stands right now, you may see somebody, you'll encounter them. They're down. Can I help you? You okay? Yeah. Well, let me know if I can help, because you don't know what to say. In this class, it teaches you, are you thinking of killing yourself? That phrase does not roll off the tongue, ever. But this workshop will help, and then the workshop will take you to the next steps of what you do. It's not a replacement for 911, nor is it a replacement for counseling. It is the step that you can do, that anyone can do. This is one of our workshops, our fly fishing. We've got another one coming Saturday. Again, all of our workshops are either actual therapies or therapeutic, equine, canine, art therapy, music therapy, neurofeedback therapy, the suicide prevention I talked about. Fly fishing, we'll have kayaking, hiking. These are all veteran organized participated events. Last year, we hosted the Traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall at the farm. Was anyone here able to come out and visit it? So we had 3,856 visitors in 4 days. So it was the Traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall, and they also brought along, that we weren't expecting, the 9/11 Memorial. So it was a very special day. And I got to tell you that if you've seen the memorial in DC, you understand when you're there, that's holy ground, that's sacred ground. And so when this was coming in, I had not seen the traveling wall before. This is sacred ground. Wherever you put those 58,000 names, it becomes sacred ground. This was Quilts of Valor, another national organization that we participate with that awarded quilts to our Vietnam veterans, and the Welcome Home Vietnam veterans. When you come across a younger vet, a non-Vietnam vet, and you say, thank you for your service, perfect. When you come across a Vietnam veteran, please say, welcome home. Welcome home, brother, welcome home, sister. I had a veteran that returned from an honor flight, and he was telling me about it, and he was tearing up. because a two-star general came out and said, "Welcome home." And he said, "I've been waiting 53 years, Al, for the government to tell me that. So, welcome home." We work very closely with the Charles George VA Medical Center. Their psychologists, their addiction recovery people, their chaplains, their interns. This is a group that came out today. We had another group that was just out for a visit. But the Charles George VA Medical Center supports the Veterans Healing Farm, and we work very closely with them. This is a workshop we had with some of our flowers, and I just put this picture in there. This is Carrie. She's a retired E8, and it's just that smile. You can't help but smile when you see that, and that's what happens at the farm. Our Veterans Resource Fair. So I talked about our agritherapy, I talked about our workshops, and now we get to our events. This is our first Veterans Resource Fair. We finished our third this year. They're always on the Saturday Memorial Day weekend. This past one, we had 40 organizations that provide free services to veterans and their families. 3 food trucks, 2 bands. It's always a great event. This you'll see on stage is Brothers and Sisters Like These, which I'm sure all of you know about. Started at the Charles George VA as a Vietnam veteran writing group for veterans that couldn't talk about their experience. They learned to write and then started doing public performances and then opened it up to all veterans. So on that stage are veterans from Vietnam through Afghanistan. This is, I think we all recognize Chuck. We have the Boy Scouts come twice a year for their ceremonies. The last time, not the last time, time before that they came, they were learning how you respectfully retire a United States flag in fire. How to fold it, how to cut it, what to say as you're putting it in the fire, and then that you wait for the fire to go out and you dig up the ashes and you bury the ashes. And to see these young men learn this, to have respect for our flag, it's an incredible moment. This is, I'll jump back for a second to our agritherapy. So last year we had a gentleman, Craig LeHoulier, come to the farm. Craig is he's a big pharma scientist, but he didn't really like Big Pharma, but he loved heirloom tomatoes. He's the one who named the Cherokee Purple Tomato in 1990, lives a mile from the farm, came up and said, "Al, you want to work together?" So we created a tomato team. Last year, they grew 115 different varieties of tomatoes in our greenhouse. And then this was at the Buzz. And so we were able to bring, we could only fit 40 of them, 40 varieties in the Buzz. But this was a public tasting, and it was a wonderful event. And one of the things that we always want is we don't want veterans to come to the farm from self-isolation to self-isolation. So we make a point of going back out to the community, and we make a point of the community coming out to the farm. This was last year's barefooting. You'll notice this is called Homecoming, and that's an airborne ranger patch and also a prosthetic limb. And this is a female that has come back to her cub. And it's in recognition of the sacrifices and progress made by our female warriors. What says on the cub shirt is only 2 things protect the United States of America: God Almighty and the U.S. military. And that's a Charlie Daniels quote. This is at the end of the year. This was if you were out for the Custa ribbon cutting. Right after that, we had our end of the year get together. So just some of the veteran volunteers that come out. This year, we found out that we were awarded the Nonprofit of the Year. So we received this in January. It was quite a surprise, really. We are so honored that we received that. This is a delegation from Ukraine. So we had 4 people that came over from Ukraine. They went to the Charles George VA to see how the Charles George VA helps its veterans recover from trauma. They went to a VA in Virginia that specializes in loss of limbs to see how they help veterans recover from trauma. And they came to the Veterans Healing Farm to see how we help veterans recover from trauma. And when I was talking to them, I said, well, and just so you know, we love the Charles George VA. We love our VA. It's one of the best in the country. But I said, when you start your VA, that'll be about $1 billion. We can do it for a lot less. This was mothersofveteransuicide.org. They come in every year for the resource fair. And she started with 6 butterflies, and now there's over 200 on her vehicle. And this is what I had referred to at the beginning, that we haven't been in active combat, but it continues. So in January, we were informed by our landowner that she's retiring and would like to use the land to enjoy with her family and will not be renewing our lease, which ends this August 15th. We're in the process of closing down. This is the proposed new home that we're going to build. This is a model of non-pharmaceutical intervention for veteran trauma that I believe will continue to help our veterans. The American Legion is a wonderful organization. The VFW is a wonderful organization. We focus on trauma recovery. It's a little bit different, but it's an organization that needs to happen. Recently, the Mountain Express interviewed 6 area police chiefs and asked them what their top concerns were. Hendersonville Chief of Police Blair Myhan, great guy. Blair's over there. But he is a great guy too. He is a great guy. 2 of the things he said, the first 2 were mental health and homelessness, the 2 big concerns for Hendersonville. The Connection Center is gone. Now a mental health organization is next. Please do not allow organizations that are helping prevent veteran suicide to close or leave. I ask for your help any way you can. And what I mean by that is I'm not asking you, I'm not here to present really to the city council. I'm here to just talk to you as individuals. Who do you know? Who do you know that knows somebody? Who do you know that can help us build this? Right now, the county has worked with us to find land and has offered us the office space in the new renovated VFW temporarily while we continue this. But really, think beyond this. Everybody, please, think beyond what you can do. We've raised $600,000 in little checks. Thank you to the citizens of Western North Carolina, to the citizens of Henderson County, Hendersonville. Thank you very much. We need more. Who do you know that can help, that doesn't know about us? I don't want to close. I don't want to leave. But the reality of life today is we're going to need some help to make this happen. So, thank you for your support. And that's all I have right now. So thank you. The truth.
Council have any questions?
Yeah, Alec?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what you're looking for as far as give us a profile of the land.
The land that we're looking for, because we're losing some space across from us that we use for parking, is ideally 12 to 15 acres. And in Henderson County is where we want to stay.
Water, creek.
That would be awesome if we had water on it, a creek, by a river, there was a pond. That's a bonus. We would love that. But and we're expecting to have to rebuild with electric, septic, whatever it may be. We looked at I looked at a place. It's a beautiful little spot. It's $2 million. So it kind of is not really our spot, but it had all of that.
Now, some of the containers and the structures, will you be able to move those? Or?
No, the main structure, which is called our bunkhouse and our stage, will be staying. We'll take our office, a Connex container on wheels, we'll take that with us. We'll take our golf carts that we use for transporting around the farm. We'll take our 3 vehicles. We'll take a refrigeration truck, and then everything that, all our placards and things like that. But the main building stays.
So in addition to land, you're going to need help with structures.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And we look at this as an opportunity, because right now, our programming will stop in November because of weather, because we don't have an indoor space. So our workshops will stop when it's cold, they'll start again when it's warmer. This past year, we did a little experiment. We ran workshops in local coffee shops, and they were packed. They were filled, because our veterans don't want to stop in, here and then pick up again here. What do we do? What do we do? So when we build this, we will have indoor classroom space, indoor office space, indoor visiting therapist space, and it'll operate year-round.
And do you have a budget, exclude the property? Just what would you think, excluding property, your budget would be?
Excluding property, 1.5 million.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Anyone else have a question? All right. Well,
All right, thank you. I was kind of hanging up here for a second, because we're going to leave, but I didn't want you to think it was leaving in protest. We're going to go get a beer. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, our next presentation is on the NCDOT South Main Roundabout Design Concepts. Mr. Detweiler and Mr. Marks and Ms. Schaefer.
Evening, Mayor and Council. That's a tough act to follow. So NCDOT will be working on a roundabout, as I think you all are aware, on the south end of town. And that project is scheduled to bid in, as of now, October of 2026. And as part of that project, we are able to incorporate some improvements into the center of the roundabout and potentially around it. Because unfortunately, in order to build the roundabout, NCDOT will have to obtain Honor Park. We have hired Watermark landscape architects, and Hunter Marks and Sarah Schaefer are here for a presentation of concepts of what they are looking at, and what we're looking for is some feedback and the go-ahead of whether we can proceed to a final design, and then DOT would incorporate that design into their plans and build it with the project. So with that, I'll hand it over to Hunter, and I've got some physical. Awesome.
Well, Mayor, Council, thanks very much for the opportunity to be here tonight. I appreciate it. I'm Hunter Marks with Watermark Landscape Architecture. And this is my associate, Sarah Schaefer. And I think it's very appropriate, given the anniversary of D-Day and the presentation by the Veterans Healing Farm, that we talk about the concepts for the roundabout, which includes Honor Air Park. And so what we'd like to do is talk to you about this concept. And again, as Brent said, get your input so that we can proceed with, we think will be an important part of downtown Hendersonville and visitors to the town. So let's see if I'm not very technologically good, but here we go. Okay, good. So here's what we have right now. We have obviously the entrance to downtown Hendersonville with the welcome sign and Honor Air Park. And along with that, as we all know, we have the future Acoustic Trail, which is coming through there. And this is a real node in the city, in that with the trail and the roads converging, Church and King and Main, and the Above the Mud connection, which will go to Jackson Park, and then the connection, the new walkable connection up Main Street to the Visitor Center and into downtown. This is going to be a pretty important area for pedestrian connections in the town. So the list of things, as we've discussed with city staff, is that we make this low maintenance. We want to make it beautiful, but we want to make it easy to keep beautiful. that we make sure that we maintain that this is Honor Air Park. And it's also a gateway to town, and that it's an informational node for all these different activities that are converging at this point. And as part of that, obviously, would be a lot of updated signage and directional information. So here's what we've come up with initially, and I'll get into a little more detail. So here's the proposed roundabout from NCDOT, and as you can see, you're coming from the south, from the Greenville-Spartanburg Highway intersection, crossing Mud Creek. Fresh Market is here to your left. So here's the roundabout. So the roundabout, as shown on this plan, is about where the flags are right now for Honor Air Park. So obviously, we don't want that big feature right in the middle of the roundabout. So we're proposing a low planted area, relatively low maintenance, with a sign just like we have now, and that the Honor Air Park be back against the Acoustic Trail with a node, a place for people to gather with information as they come along the trail. They come from South Main Street, they're going to Jackson Park, whatever. A little bit of detail about that. So within the roundabout, we have low maintenance native plants, something that would be very attractive, seasonal interest, something that would also, we have the entrance sign similar to what we have now. The interior of the roundabout would be highly landscaped, not like the one on Shepherd and Greenville Highway, which DOT could do a little work on that one. But we can do better than that. And then the actual junction where the trail comes in next to Honor Air Park. So the trail's coming in, Honor Air Park is there, the connection to Main Street, the connection to Jackson Park above the mud. If the Acoustic Trail was extended eventually up to 4th Avenue, all that. So people will come and they say, well, where am I? Where can I go? And so this would provide all that, and as well as being, this is Honor Air Park. Again, we'd have informational signage, benches, the flags. So this is the plan, and what we'd like from you is to get your thoughts and what you think so we can go on to the next step. And thank you very much. I'll take any questions.
Questions? Comments?
I think it looks lovely. I really like it, especially like the sign with the planter on top of it.
Well, that's inspired by the Ocklawaha Greenway, so we want to have some continuity with some of the other stuff that's already going on in the city, so.
I just really want to thank you for preserving Honor Air Park. It's a pretty big deal
I
to
think
me.
that's important.
Yeah. And I appreciate it. I didn't know if DOT was just going to roll right over it, and it was going to be a nice memory, but I think, in all honesty, this will be an improvement. I think it can become a little more active, so I'm grateful.
So with that, again, thanks very much for your time, and we appreciate and look forward to your input.
So just to kind of put a fine point on it, we have engaged Hunter and Watermark, Hunter and Sarah, to take this concept all the way through design phase. We're contracted to do that. And then we will ultimately turn that over to NCDOT for their bidding and construction. As Brent said, right now, I think bidding is 2026. So, construction may not be complete until 2028, 29, assuming they stay on the current path. But we'll have a design ready and have it turned over to incorporate in their bid documents, and because there's also some water sewer work around this too. So so that's where we're going. So we're telling you about it in 2024, and
Forget about it, and you'll have to tell us about it again.
but anyway, thanks, Hunter, for your work, you and Sarah.
Thank you.
That's good. All right, we have a couple of public hearings this evening. The first one is a street closure in order to close a portion of an unnamed street at the request of Housing Assistance Corporation.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of City Council. So City Council adopted a resolution declaring its intent to close this portion of an unnamed street and set the public hearing at your May 2nd meeting. So at the public hearing, any person may be heard on the question of whether the closing would be detrimental to public interest or the property rights of any individual. So this specific request, so as you mentioned, this is a request from the Housing Assistance Corporation, who owns the property that the right-of-way lies within. So the area proposed to be closed is in yellow and shown on the screen. As you'll see, it is just a portion, well, I guess you really can't see from this angle, but it is just a portion of the right-of-way. It's not the entire right-of-way proposed to be closed. The area to be closed is approximately 0.16 acres. And the order to close language also includes language that if it is closed, the city will reserve right to an easement for public utility and pedestrian infrastructure. There is a motion for approval and also a motion for denial, and the street closure plat is also available if y'all need to see that as well. I'm happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
Anyone have any questions? All right, thank you. We will open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, has this hearing been advertised in accordance with general statutes?
Yes, Mayor, it has.
So we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone present who wishes to comment on this street closure? Anyone who wishes to comment? Is there anyone online seeking recognition to comment?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. And there were no digital comments, so we'll go ahead and close that public hearing. Council, discussion or a motion?
Madam Mayor, like to make a motion. I move that the City Council adopt an order permanently closing an unopened and unimproved portion of an unnamed street located on PN 9569-41-8704 as petitioned by the Housing Assistance Corporation.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor of closing this portion of an unnamed street, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and that's been taken care of. Right. Next, we have our budget adoption for fiscal year 25.
Mayor Volt, members of City Council, citizens of Hendersonville, it's my pleasure to present the fiscal year 25 budget for your consideration. As you know, budget process is hopefully will end today as we adopt the budget, and we bring one fiscal year to a close on June 30th and start a new one on July 1. And our budget process for fiscal year 26 begins not too long after that. So it's a year-round process. I need to thank our budget team under the leadership of Assistant City Manager Brian Pauley, but Adam Murr and Jenny Floyd, thank you for your work, as well as the work of our department heads and their division leaders. It really is a year-round process. I will say that this year's budget process has been one of the more challenging that I've had in my 32 years as city manager. We are in times that folks of my manager generation and other manager friends that I talk to, we have not seen as it relates to inflation, as it relates into the need to, and rightfully so, but the need to raise salaries, the competition to hire well-qualified professional city employees, particularly in the public safety departments, is continuing to be a challenge. It's very much an arms race. We don't know quite where it's in as we talk to other managers around the state, and we've worked hard to provide you with a budget that will do all the things that council has set out as goals and priorities, and I'll talk about those in just a minute. But just want to kind of set the baseline to let you know that it has been a challenging year, but I want to thank the staff for working with us. We've done things such as hiring freezes. We've done hiring freezes. We've asked folks to take comp time when they normally would get compensatory time when they would normally get overtime. So our staff has really stepped up to make sure we maintain a balanced budget for our citizens, and is something that our staff doesn't always understand, but they have taken it as troopers, and we really appreciate the work that they've done. So I just want to say that. And we have built next year's budget around what we know as it relates to the current economy and what we see in the current environment. As you see here, our vision, which is the foundation of what we do, we want a vibrant mountain city where government and citizens work together for a high quality of life. And then our mission, we're committed to providing quality, efficient services to all citizens, visitors, businesses through open communication, timely response, and quality results. And I think this budget meets both our vision and our mission. Back in March, we had your city council retreat, and then in subsequent meetings, we had you rank your goals for the coming year going forward. And public safety, as it should, ranked out as number one. And compensation and benefits for our employees was number two. Strong infrastructure and strategic housing plan made out the top four, with growth management and community character is the top five. So your budget is built around all 10 of those, but particularly the top five, because those are your strongest priorities. As you said, we met on March 14th and 15th, and we have updated goals there. I will also say that I will point to the link at the bottom. The goals will be used as part of our strategic plan, and there will be a report card developed at the end of each fiscal year to see how we've met these goals and met your vision. Your FY budget in total in balance is over $62,820,947. Each year I stand up here, I'll say this is the largest budget for the city of Hendersonville. I hope we can get to the point that we're, but I don't know that we'll ever get there. 45% of that is with the general fund. 44% of that is water and sewer, so very close, those two largest funds. Then followed by your environmental services fund, stormwater, parking, the Main Street Municipal Service District, your health and welfare fund, 7th Avenue, MSD, water and sewer capital reserve fund, and your governmental special revenue funds. So your budget there total almost $63 million. So what is in this budget? I will point to Brian's Venn diagram there, saying that we want stable services, we want low density, and we want low taxes. Well, you can only have two of the three there. So we have built the budget. It does not exist to have all three in the middle. We've got to be able to balance that growth and provide stable services. And I think those are the priorities from the council and from your staff. Our budget total, the main budget drivers, is a 5% citywide cost of living increase for all employees, with an additional 5% public safety COLA. So we're providing every employee will get a minimum of 5%. Our public safety, our police and fire, being that public safety was your number one priority, will get additional 5%. So total 10% there. That will allow us to be competitive and to recruit in this very volatile market, this very difficult environment for our chiefs to recruit in, and it's really more about retention as it is as a recruitment. We want to retain the folks that we've brought here, the folks that we've trained, the folks that we know, and that 10% cost of living for our public safety departments is our attempt to do that. Is it the end-all be-all? No, but we feel like it is a good opportunity to support our existing police and fire. As I said, all other employees will get 5%. Also included in the budget this year is a career ladder development that Brent Detweiler in the Public Services Department have worked closely on to take care of our employees in our public works, public utilities, and engineering. So career ladder, something that our law enforcement and public safety departments have had previously, but that will also benefit our employees in our public services department.
We're not proposing any merit increases this year. We're in the process of transition our performance evaluation process. So we put all our merit money into our COLA contributions for our employees. We will continue to provide a 2% 401k match for general employees as mandated by state law. Law enforcement officers will get 5% 401k match. So we had enacted a 2% for general employees last year. We were proposing to increase that incrementally. However, based on the current environment, we decided to remain at 2% this year. We're seeing a health insurance increase of 6%, which we never like health insurance increases, but this is the first time in 5 years that we've had an increase. And I will say that the 6% is very fair. Our utilization rate was much higher than that. However, that health insurance through the pool was bid out. We will be Aetna will take over our insurance pool away from MedCalls, and we got a very favorable rate as part of that negotiation, which allowed us to have only a 6.2% increase. So we're very pleased with that. And they'll also allow us to make some adjustments into our health plan. Retirement increase, which is set by the local government retirement system, 15% for law enforcement officer increase, the level will be 15% of salaries and 13% for non-law enforcement. That is mandated by state or local government retirement system. We only have 5 recommended positions in the budget. Only one of them is in the general fund. That is a downtown police officer. Again, public safety was the #1 priority. We wanted to make sure we reinstituted a full-time downtown police officer that will free up our other law enforcement officers on the teams to make sure they can be in all areas of the city and not have to split time in downtown. So that the benefit of the downtown officer is that assigning that one officer then frees up our other officers that are already in the city. That officer can deal with any downtown issues, and the other officers will continue to patrol, unless it's a significant event, will continue to patrol all other areas of the city. And then we have 4 water and sewer positions within the utility department. Your general fund, proposing a tax rate of 52 cents per $100. That is an increase of 3 cents from 49 cents. That 3 cent increase is going to fund those public safety improvements that we've talked about in the police department and fire department. You'll see there that we've added 1 FTE, 1 full-time equivalent, and that's the downtown police officers. We've updated our salary splits to make sure that we are splitting we do split salaries among all funds, and we annually review the salary splits to make sure they're fair, to make sure that the general fund, to make sure the utility fund, the solid waste environmental services fund, and the stormwater fund, also the downtown funds, are paying their fair share of all salaries. For example, my salary is split among all funds. The taxpayers are not paying for all of my salary. Also, some of our utility customers pay in stormwater. So we do that for transparency's sake, and so to make sure that each business unit pays their share for common positions such as city manager, city attorney, HR, finance, those departments that serve all business units. So you'll see there. So that was all a reduction in the general fund of $840,000. We cut, because of budget considerations, we cut PAYGO capital. We'll cut capital very tight this year. Very little capital is in that budget this year. Most of it is, again, the dollars are going to personnel and public safety, but we're replacing 8 vehicles in the police department, but PAYGO capital was very low this year, so you'll see that in the future, but right now we cut capital significantly. We do have a debt service payment there of $520,000. You see, as we're making payments on the City Hall and operations projects, Fire Station 1, Edwards, the 2 new fire apparatus
that we received this year, as well as our traditional vehicle and equipment loan. We're appropriating, you will see on the left of the screen there that, again, the total general fund budget is just over 27,620,000, 26 million in revenues, and then we have other financing source, and we are proposing a $2 million fund balance appropriated. You will see there that our fund balance at the start of the year is 10 million, over $10 million, and at the end of the year, with that $2 million proposal is $8 million. That is our projection. As we always talk about, we always appropriate more than we use, so we estimate we will only actually use $226,000 of that fund balance appropriation. That will continue to have your fund balance level above the $10 million, right around your fund balance goal of 25%. If all estimates come in, we will drop a little bit below that 25 to 23 for next year, but anticipate with our funding model, with the tax rate at 52 cents, that we'll quickly go back above the 25%, which is the goal of the City Council. So as you know, we do a 5-year projection and through our budget team, so we're projecting back above the 25% in future years. This will show where our tax rate compared to our peers. We continue to be right in the middle, as we know today at 52 cents. You see folks around us. These are full-service municipalities, very much like cities, who provide service not only to our local residents, but folks that live outside the city. I will say that in most cases, the percentage of the size of our city, we're much smaller than not only in population, but land mass, but just proportionally, as you know, as we've talked to council, the city is, for the services we provide, proportionally, we're much smaller than other county seats around the state. So we do carry a little higher burden because we provide support to a number of other municipalities and unincorporated areas in a fast-growing county of over 15,000. So 16,000 residents and 7 square miles carry a heavy load for a county over 115,000 population. And so show you where we are. And you see there the average tax rate for that is 51.5, and we're at 52. This will be the impact on our residents with the tax rate increase. You can see there that for a property assessed at $200,000, you'll see an annual increase of 3 cents. It'd be $60 annually, about $5 a month, about 6.1%. For a $400,000 assessed property, it's $120 a year, $10 a month, and then for a $600,000 assessed property, you will see it's $180 a year, $15 a month. So you will see that impact of the recommended 3 cent tax increase. That is your general fund. Let me stop right there and see any questions about your general fund before I move on to the other funds. Okay. I'll go through the smaller funds and then we'll hit the utility fund. The Main Street Fund, no change in the tax rate there. This is our Main Street Municipal Service District. That is 21 cents per $100. You see the major expenditures there: personnel and benefits, operating budget, $5,000 for shrub replacement, and then brick sidewalk replacement there. Fund balance proposal there, your total expenditure is $799,231. So you have a fund balance appropriated of $157,000 proposal there. That's the estimate. You'll see there at the end of the year, we only expect to use about $20,000. So not much change there. Your 7th Avenue Municipal Service District Fund, again, no change in the tax rate, 21 cents per $100. So those two funds for the second year now are equalized, which was the goal of the City Council to equalize those two MSDs. Total budget of $169,341. You will see the change there. We actually anticipate increasing the fund balance at the end of the year. Again, do some design around the historic depot, 7th Avenue signage updates, and the rest is, and we'll be working through and completing the 7th Avenue streetscape project. Second largest fund there is your water and sewer fund, $27,476,750,000 other financing sources, $702,000 appropriated, $1.8 million in fund balance appropriation to balance the budget. You will see there that your fund balance at the start of the year is over $9.5 million. If we use 1.8, which we typically do not, that would drop the fund balance to 7.7. You will see there, which is still very healthy. While we watch the fund balance, more importantly, I'll draw your attention to the bottom right. Fund balance is important, but also more importantly in the utility fund is we fund our large capital projects through the sale of revenue bonds. So we have revenue bond covenants with bond holders, and it is important that we meet those bond covenants, and you'll see that we continue to do that, and we estimate that we will with this budget and still be in good shape from a fund balance appropriation. We're seeing revenue, we'll see water rates increase by 8% and sewer rates increased by 9%. Thanks to some heavy work by our utility director and our budget team, we had proposed, I believe, 11 and 12% increases on, and we were able to cut that to 8% and 9%, thanks to implementation of system development fees by the city council, as well as some streamlining of our capital improvement project and delaying some projects further out there that will allow us to reduce the rate increases. So, and we continue to equalize rates inside versus outside. We'll drop it another 5% to equalize it. That the outside rate now is 125% of the inside rate. That was a commitment of City Council to equalize rates by 2030, and this year will be the 5th year of bringing those rates. We have 4 new full-time equivalents in the utility fund, 1 in our finance department, 2 in the facilities maintenance, and 1 at the water treatment plant. Your operating budget there is 9.7, 1.18 pay-go capital vehicle purchases, as well as debt service, and we'll be taking on 1.5 million debt service for the French Broad intake. That is your that is your water and sewer fund. Parking fund, this is the second year of your parking fund. Expenditures of $1.289 million, fund balance appropriation of 201. You see that we will actually have a negative. The general fund is continuing to support the parking fund as it continues to stand itself up. Again, this is only the second year. We're basically breaking even, and you will see the major expenditures there. This is was not unplanned, but we will continue to slowly stand up the parking fund as the deck begins to get more utilization of the deck, as well as more utilization on Main Street. Stormwater fund, Mike Huffman's fund, $1.347 million there. Other financing, pretty standard. This fund is in good shape. We will actually expect to increase the fund balance in this fund by $121,000. And you'll see most of that will go to stormwater infrastructure. They pay for brush and leaf grind, a portion of brush and leaf grinding, and the operating budget there. We are increasing the rate as direction from council from $6 to $7, and raising the cap for the ERUs by $50. Council, as part of our capital plan for a future bond issuance for stormwater, is to slowly grow the revenue there to be able to cover a large capital program that'll Mike is working on, that we expect in 2 or 3 more years. So we're growing that, so it'll be a sustainable model when that bond revenue issuance happens. Environmental Service Fund, which is your solid waste fund, no change there. continues to be $23 per month and $25 a month. They pay another portion of your brush and leaf grinding. You see there our largest, one of our largest expenditures is tipping fees. That's paid to Henderson County for our waste to be disposed outside the county. I will say that, that's the benefit of recycling is the tipping fees are based on weight. So the less weight that we have in our solid waste, the less tipping fees we have to pay. We continue to have a vehicle loan, and you see our debt service there on a waste truck and leaf machine. Part of this fund also, I know is a strong priority of Councilmember Hensley, is we had a solid waste route study, efficiency study that will be completed by the end of this fiscal year. Matter of fact, I think we'll probably have a report out at your workshop meeting at the end of the month. So we just made the decision not to change rates or any significant changes because we know there'll be changes following that study that council will want to implement. So that is your budget in total. Again, $62,820,000, with your largest being the general fund and your water and sewer fund. Again, thank you for the staff for the work they've done. Thank you for council and your support and your commitment. And stand by to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, has this public hearing been advertised in accordance with general statutes?
Yes, Mayor, it has.
We will open this public hearing. Nobody present signed up to speak. Is there anyone online wishing to comment on the budget?
Yes, Madam Mayor, one
Okay.
hand is raised. Lynn, you are unmuted.
Good evening, Lynn Williams, Chadwick Avenue. Last year when I made this request, I believe it was heard, and I'm going to make it again, and that is price for plots at Oakdale Cemetery. Go for $500 for residents and $1,000 for non-residents. And I think last year you proposed a 100% increase, and I did speak out for that, and then it did go back to the regular same prices. This year it looks like it's proposed again. And out of a $62 million budget, I'd ask that you reconsider and do something a bit more incremental for the plot, like by, at $100 over the next 5 years increase or something, instead of just price gouging to doubling it. So my request would be for historic Oakdale Cemetery to either have the plots remain the same price or incrementally increase it instead of just doubling it straight away. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Anyone else?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have one more hand raised.
All right.
Ken Fitch, you are unmuted.
And Fitch, 1046 Patton Street. Tonight we have before us this startling, immense document that expresses the basic political values of the city government with plans and policies and goals for the future. And for anyone who took the time to review it, it is a formidable document and a product of massive dedication and effort. For those who have viewed the horror film video of the process, one understands that it is indeed a tortured process. And we have witnessed this firsthand when Brian Foley is called upon to undergo massive recalibration on the spot for a requested amendment from council during a meeting. But then there is Adam Murr, who can be seen with extraordinary dexterity, negotiating spreadsheets from here to eternity with a calm that is a wonderment of the age. For many of us, the final presentation may seem, in some respects, impenetrable, but not perhaps for our mayor with her legendary mathematic prowess. But the budget does present us with the reality of a tax increase, and one that one would note that even the fact that only a few have appeared to speak to the issue, we should be assured that there will be much comment when the tax bill arrives. At a recent meeting, it was Jeff Miller who insisted that public safety should receive priority attention. And in the budget, this is represented by an additional 5% COLA for police and fire personnel, in addition to the COLA for other city staff. Public safety positions require individuals who often have to negotiate complex, extremely hazardous situations with commitment, dedication, and experience of extensive training. And we realize because of the requirements of these positions, there is a shortage of qualified persons in the region, and the increase is needed to ensure that we have the protection we need. Our police department is called upon to deal with increasingly complex situations, and our exemplary fire department members are not just firefighters, but also called upon to address emergency medical situations where their arrival on scene can be the difference between life and death. And when Ms. Pam's palace is open, they will return to their record 40-second mobilization from the station to the engine to the road. But we must recognize that other departments, Public Works, Water and Sewer, and of course Mike Huffman, are called upon to respond to unexpected emergency situations, and future budgets must recognize their essential service. And our budgetary commitment to all our staff is one that we should never ignore. However, there's one serious reality that should not escape attention. The issue of affordable housing is often a topic of recent discussion. For current homeowners who are in a fixed income or low income, the tax increase, when combined with county taxes and also the alarming severe increase in home insurance and other fees, can create an unaffordable budget-busting situation. And for some of our workforce who live in the city, there is also economic impact. At a meeting earlier this afternoon, it was reported that one elderly resident on a fixed income was confronted with a $400 increase in her taxes. Affordability is an issue that many residents increasingly confront. This means that going forward, some non-salaried expenditures may require more rigorous consideration, given the impact of taxes on quality of life for many residents. Plans can be exciting and visionary, but they should not venture beyond the limits of reality in terms of budget affordability and the impact on the quality of life of those who live here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fitch. Is there anyone else seeking recognition?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay, there was one digital comment from Jeffrey Liebert Sr., 32 Journey Lane, Hendersonville, and his comment was that he thought we should be funding the repaving of Church Street, and I think we can assure him that that is a DOT street, and they are working on it, and it will be repaved this summer. So we do not have to worry about that in our budget. Okay. So I will close that public hearing. Council, discussion or a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt the fiscal year 2024 to 2025, fiscal year 25 budget ordinance, fiscal year 2024, 2025, fiscal year 25 capital reserve fund ordinance, fiscal year 2024, 2025, fiscal year 25 resolution of intent to consider and adopt the recommended capital improvement plan and follow the rate schedule, fiscal year 2024, 2025, fiscal year 25 resolution authorizing increase in micro purchase threshold, and fiscal year 2024, 25, fiscal year 25 pay and classification schedule as presented.
Is there any discussion? Not those in favor of adopting the proposed FY25 budget, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. And we thank staff for the hard work that went into this. It was a difficult year, to put it mildly, I'm sure. Okay, new business. First one is special appropriations.
I'll jump in. Mayor Volk, members of City Council, as part of your budget process, and I have hard copies if any council member would like to see it. City Council appropriates money for our special appropriations. We put this before you tonight. There were several motions in the fact that some council members may wish to be recused because of potential conflicts, and I'll let you do that. But we totally are spending $143,500 in special appropriations, and then in addition to that, $176,500, which goes to our full funding list, which is things that include the Economic Investment Fund of the Partnership, the Partnership for Economic Development, the Hendersonville County Rescue Squad, which we contribute to, the Interfaith Assistance Ministry. We contribute to Merchants and Business Administration that helps pay for the parades, as well as the Mills River Partnership. So have a long list available. It was also published, and you have a list of motions there for the special appropriations process, but I ask the council to take action.
All right, so we'll conferring down. Okay. All right. Simpson.
Okay. Madam Mayor and members of City Council, I want to disclose that my graphic design business is currently engaged in performing work for the following nonprofits: Arts Council of Henderson County, Boys and Girls Club of Henderson County, and Blue Ridge Humane Society. I have clarified with them that no funds from the city can be used to pay for the work that I'm doing for them. And I would also like to disclose that I've not participated in the special appropriations process for these nonprofits. However, in order to avoid a possible conflict of interest, I request that the City Council permit me to excuse myself from voting on the special appropriations for these three nonprofits.
Not for.
Not for.
All right. Thank you. Would any council member like to?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I move that the city council excuse Councilmember Simpson from voting on the special appropriations. Oh, for Blue Ridge Literacy and Arts Council.
Sorry, I messed it all up, everybody. Don't say this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the Arts Council of Henderson County, Boys and Girls Club of Henderson County, and the Blue Ridge Humane Society.
Okay. It's been moved that Ms. Simpson be excused from voting on the three named organizations. Is there any discussion? Those in favor of approving, excusing Ms. Simpson from this, say aye. Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and you will not have to vote on those that you are involved with.
Madam Mayor, I move that the city council approve the special appropriation for the Art Council of Henderson County, Boys and Girls Club of Henderson County, and Blue Ridge Humane Society.
Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of approving special appropriations for the three named organizations, say aye. Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and that has been approved.
Madam Mayor. Wait, there's one. I would like to disclose that I have a leadership role at Starlight. I have not participated in the special appropriation process for this nonprofit and request that the city council permit me to recuse myself from voting on the special appropriation for Starlight.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council excuse Councilmember Lawrence from voting on the special appropriation for Starlight.
Has been moved to excuse Councilmember Lawrence from voting on Starlight. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, and will not be necessary for her to vote on that particular organization.
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council approve the special appropriation for Starlight.
Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of approving the special appropriation for Starlight say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, and that special appropriation has been approved. So we do have the rest of those organizations on the list.
Madam Mayor, move City Council approve the remaining special appropriation allocations as presented.
Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of approving the remaining special appropriation allocations, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Motion.
And Madam Mayor, if I may, just want to thank council for that. I know that's always a process over numerous meetings to do that. I will say that, what the council has approved, and this is for the folks, the public, as well as the nonprofits that have receiving funding, just for transparency's sake and to know how we treat these. The money has been allocated now by the council. However, the legal team and our budget team will then begin work on drafting contracts with our nonprofits to ensure that the money is spent for a public purpose in accordance with state law, in accordance for programs that city can fund. We cannot fund everything or anything. So I know that the legal team will be working on that as well as the budget team. So just want to be real clear, there's still work that will be done that over the next several months to get those contracts in order so that we can then write checks and give the money out. But it's just not distributed throughout the community. There is a process, and the city has the ability to audit those funds to make sure they're spent accordingly. And so I wanted to say that, and I know that Councilmember Hensley may have a comment about one of them that she wanted to make. So
I just wanted to touch on the Education Foundation, I believe, who funds the Leader in Me program. And I understand that they are actually starting that program with Henderson County Public Schools at Bruce Drysdale this coming year. And I would like to be able to make sure that the city council, the appropriations specifically go to that, to Bruce Drysdale for this coming year. So I don't know if that's something we can do, but since it's in the city and it's their first year, I'd like to be able to make sure that we're able to contribute to that. It's already money allocated, but.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, and Hendersonville Elementary's is generously covered every year. And so being able to support the city school, the schools that are in the city, I think are ideal. Thanks, Jeff.
Like to make a motion to that effect?
Do I need to, or is it just a?
By general consent, we can request.
Madam Attorney, you want a motion, or does it?
I think that might not be a bad idea.
Okay.
Okay. Madam Mayor, I'd like to move that we use the special appropriations for Leader in Me to be designated to Bruce Drysdale Elementary.
Is there any discussion? Those in favor of designating the appropriations to Bruce Drysdale, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Thank you. All right, so we added a B, the Apple Country Transit.
Do you want me to talk about it?
Sorry, I was waiting for it to pull it up.
Sorry.
And I'm pulling it out. So Mayor, Vogt, members of City Council, the city of Hendersonville has been a partner in the Apple Country Public Transit Program since its inception. and we are a very strong supporter. We contribute over almost $184,000 to fund public transit with a lot of the routes in the Hendersonville area. It's also, main funding is federal government, second largest contributor is Henderson County, and then third, the city has the next largest, and then also the town of Fletcher provides funding. But we have been a funder. We are a partner at the table. In fact, we will have a presentation at your June meeting on a transit study that was just completed by the county, or by the county. So just want to make you aware. I know Council Member Hensley had questions that wanted to make sure the public knew that we had been a partner at the table and that we fund that at a pretty significant level, almost a penny of your tax rate. Actually, a better way to say it is the funding that we provide for motor vehicle fees on your motor vehicle goes to fund this service for our citizens is the public transit. So that's a better way of looking at it, is that $15 fee that you pay on their motor vehicle registration goes to fund public transit in Hendersonville. So.
Mr. Connie, has the Apple Country considering maybe increasing their service an extra day on Saturday?
So that'll be.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No. You asked him.
I don't know that I know the answer to that. I think we'll hear that in the study. That will be an additional cost, obviously, and I think that'll be something that it'd be a good question for the county staff when they come at the end of June. But thank you, Ms. Rance.
I know expansion of the services has been a big topic with the transit study that's been going on, and Jana, who's coming to present to us at the end of June, right?
That's right.
And she'll be going over the information from the transit study. I know we talk about that a lot at TAC, so.
Thank you.
We need to make a motion.
You do the approve the agreement.
Was there anything else you wanted to mention on that?
No, but we just need to, since it's on the consent agenda, that we.
Yeah, we need
continue with the funding,
a formal
so,
motion on that.
yeah.
There's a resolution for you to just make a motion to adopt the resolution that's included in the
Yeah,
agenda.
is that
Can you read that?
Madam Mayor, move City Council to adopt a resolution by the City of Hendersonville City Council to authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with Henderson County for the partial funding of Apple Country Transit System.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not? Those in favor of the resolution for funding to Apple Country Transit, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and that one's been taken care of. Thank you. All right, next we have boards and commissions. It's going to take a while. We only do it twice a year. So when we do it, we do it big. Okay, first one is ABC Board. And did you want to comment on that, or shall I just?
So, Mayor Vogtman, City Council, just so the public knows, as of yesterday, I believe we have merged. In Henderson County, there have been 3 ABC boards, and under the leadership of the Hendersonville leadership ABC board, we have merged the Hendersonville and the Laurel Park ABC boards into one board now. We call it Blue Ridge ABC board. They manage all of the ABC stores with the idea that will improve efficiency. And in another positive for their customers, it will allow availability of product because it'll be a larger store. They'll get a larger allotment for those folks. So it'll benefit the community. The city, basically, they're a subsidiary unit of us, but all we do is appoint members. They manage their operation completely. It's hands off from the city. But in this case, because there was a merger, the city council has to appoint 3 members to the new 5-member board. We're asking for appointments for a 3-year term, staggered, first time, 3-year term, 2-year term, 1-year term. The person that receives the 3-year appointment will be served as the first chair of the joint ABC board, and then for a 2-year term, and then the chair will then rotate annually between someone appointed by the city council and somebody appointed from the Laurel Park Town Board going forward. You have 3 individuals that currently serve on our board. Marcia Kane, Chuck McGrady, and Ken Calhoun. Their names are included in the cup there, Mayor. I know as it relates to the appointment, I've got all 3 names in there. So I'll let you take over from here on whether you want to draw from 3 names for the chairman or just 2 names from the chairman. So however you want to do that.
Well, we have 2 people who have indicated they would like to serve as chairman, and that is Chuck McGrady and Marcy Kane. So they are both very well qualified. I'm not going to make council vote. We are going to draw a name. There are 2 names in here.
Why do I have to do it?
Pro Tem, just suck it up.
Okay?
Drum roll? No, just kidding. Chuck McGrady.
Okay? And that we talked about that the person who was drawn as chairman would be receiving the 3-year term.
Yep.
And so we do have the other 2 names here. The next name that gets drawn will have the 2-year term.
Good.
And Calhoun.
Okay. And then Marcy Kane will get the 1-year term, but again, these are available for reappointment. So. Okay. So if someone would like to make that formal motion.
Madam Mayor,
Okay, you can go for it. Do it.
Madam Mayor, I move City Council appoint Chuck McGrady to a 3-year term, Mr. Calhoun to a 2-year term, and Marcia Kane to a 1-year term. Furthermore, I move that Chuck McGrady be appointed as chairperson of the Blue Ridge ABC Board for a term of 2 years.
Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of the appointments as listed, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it. And taking care of the ABC board. All right, now let's go down our list. The first one on the list is the Animal Services Advisory Committee. We need to appoint 6 members to a 3-year term. And there is discussion of, rather than having everybody end at once, that we would have some staggered terms.
Madam Mayor, may I chime in? So the Animal Services Advisory Committee asked to expand their committee by 3 members.
Okay.
And so the first thing to do would be to make a motion to amend, if there, you have a summary motion and it's in a green box at the bottom of the sheet. Or actually, it's now rolled over to the second page in a green box at the top.
So
The amendment,
let me ask a question. I've got 2 sheets.
you need both. They need both.
Okay,
So
so
it looks like the actual motion is on this one.
There's there's suggested motions, and then there's a memo explaining it.
Yeah.
So
We only got to read this red.
that's correct.
Okay.
That's right. I just wanted you to see what was being changed in the green box, that it's going from 8 to 11 members. And then because there are 3 new members being appointed, they need to be staggered. So the first 3 appointments to be made, one is a 1-year term, the second is a 2-year term, and the third is a 3-year term to stagger the new positions if City Council is agreeable to expanding the committee. This is, the committee voted to request that.
What is the purpose of the expansion?
It's,
I don't know the answer to that.
so because they're having a hard time getting a quorum for their quasi judicial.
Getting folks, they have to have dangerous dog hearings.
Yep.
And my understanding is they were struggling to get folks to serve on that dangerous dog committee, which is quasi judicial and requires a lot of support from the legal team. So that was my understanding is, so.
It does, and for the animal service, for the quasi judicial hearings, the quorum is reduced to 4. I want to say it's 4. But it's who's available at the time, because you have to hold the hearing in a very short period of time of the dog being declared dangerous. And so it's short notice, so having a larger available pool to choose from.
How often does that happen?
It has happened 2 or 3 times since I've been here. So it's not very often. But they have had to convene just to, continue it so that they could meet the letter of actually convening it within the 3 days. It's a very short period of time.
Is there another body who can make that decision if they are not able to?
No.
So I think the idea of having more members is they've got a bigger pool to draw from so they can meet those deadlines and get people to the meetings.
I'm assuming,
I'm not looking at you for,
make it happen. I don't know why.
I'm not looking at it, but I think,
I mean, that's what I was told.
I was told that also by the chairperson.
Is that,
Hate to add people to the board just to have more people on the board because the people who are there can't come to the board.
that's city council's call. They can't do that themselves. My understanding is that they took a vote at the last meeting to request city council to do this. If you have questions about it, the terms don't expire till, well, the new ones are, you could just appoint everybody except the new ones, and we could bring the new ones back if you wanted more information. That would be one way to do it. It's up to you.
I mean, I'm okay if they feel comfortable having an 11-member board, then we can try having an 11-member board. And if it's not helping, then when these first 2 people roll off, we can just not renew them.
But then it would
And
be
go
an
back
11-member
down.
board though, that we'd already changed, that then we'd have to change it back again to.
I mean, that's true.
9-member board.
You would.
Can we could we maybe just do the 3 people tonight and just make sure?
I'm
Is
a
it-
little mixed on that. I mean, they had to put thought in it.
Yeah.
That's why I saw Caroline and that crew, right? So I mean, I don't like to start micromanaging committees from up here. And if this is what they've asked for, I think we should do it. And if it doesn't work out, you guys can change it. But I mean, I just don't like micromanaging committees. So I would go with it. That's my 2 cents.
Would someone like to make that motion to expand the board?
Madam Mayor, move City Council amend the charter in Article 4, Section 1 to expand the membership for this committee from 8 members to 11 members as presented, and to permit the appointment of members to a term of less than 3 years where necessary to keep the term staggered.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Not those in favor of expanding the membership, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and now have the 11 members. Okay. Who wants to start naming names here?
Do you want us to do all of them and then vote at the end?
It would be easier to take one vote on all.
Can one person do all of them and we go from there? It's
Is there
okay,
any
right?
objection?
I have no objection.
Okay.
Okay, here I go. Madam Mayor, I move that City Council appoint Catherine, I apologize if I say this wrong, Weibel, to the Animal Services Advisory Committee to a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2025. So it's actually, sorry, it's a one-year term. I'm just kind of going in order, so I want it to be whatever this first one is. So it should really be a one-year term ending June 30th, 2025. Okay, I see where we're at now. I move that City Council appoint Robin Granger to the Animal Services Advisory Committee to a 2-year term ending June 30th, 2026. I move that City Council appoint Darlene McClaskey to the Animal Services Advisory Committee to a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. I move that we appoint Holly Newton to the Animal Services Advisory Committee to a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. I move that we appoint Beth Scarborough to the Animal Services Advisory Committee to a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. And I move that we appoint Patricia Shepard to the Animal Services Advisory Committee to a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027.
Are there further nominations for any of these slots on the Animal Services Advisory Committee? Not. Those in favor of the appointments as specified, say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. Let's have it. Thank you. Got that one. Next, Board of Adjustment. We have one application or 2 vacancies.
Madam Mayor, I move the City Council appoint Reed Barwick to the Board of Adjustment for a 3-year term ending in June 30th, 2027.
Is there any or are there any further nominations? If not, those in favor of appointing Reed Barwick to the Board of Adjustment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, and he has been appointed. DEI, we have 2 positions, but there is also a motion. I think we can do that after
That's correct.
after the appointments. So, any recommendations, nominations for the Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Mm-hmm.
I move that City Council appoint Florence Oliver. We're applying for a full term to the Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. I also move that Victor Mills be appointed to the Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027.
Okay, who is the second person? I didn't quite.
Victor Mills,
It's number 8.
number 8.
Okay.
Victor Mills.
I see him now. Okay. Are there further nominations for the Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee? If not, then those in favor of appointing Florence Albaugh and Victor Mills to the Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, and we have those 2 appointees. Now, in red, there is an additional motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council amend Article 4, Section 1 of the Charter of the Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee to allow for any council member to serve as the alternate liaison to this committee as presented, and to appoint Councilmember Lawrence as the alternate City Council liaison.
Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of amending the charter and appointing Councilmember Lawrence to the Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee as council liaison, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Thank you. Downtown Main Street Advisory. We have
Did we need to do this that's accidentally under ESB? Sorry, there's another motion under ESB, but it says diversity and inclusion.
It should say ESB.
Okay.
The substance of the motion is correct.
Okay.
It should be for ESB.
All right, I just wanted to make sure we got.
Thank you for that correction. Yeah.
Here it says we need to appoint 5 people, 2 from Main Street, 1 from 7th Avenue, and then 2 at large. We have enough for that?
Mhm.
There are nominations for the downtown.
Yes, ma'am. I would like, should we do the same thing again? I mean,
Yeah.
it's all the same. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5. Is that right? Let's make sure I've got my numbers right. Okay. Madam Mayor, I nominate Caroline Gunther. Also nominate Matthew Hickman, Oliver Wall, Ryan, somebody help me,
Salveson?
Ryan Salveson, and Patsy Dupree to the Downtown Main Street Advisory Committee.
Is that 5 or 4?
That's 5.
That's 5.
It is 5, but I apologize. I'd like to interfere with this process as little as possible, but 1, you need 2 to the Main Street district.
So Oliver counts as a Main Street person. 'Cause
Oh, he does.
He's
That's
the
Mass
manager
General.
at.
Oh, okay, okay.
Caroline being the other.
And Caroline would.
Okay, are there further nominations to the Downtown Main Street Advisory Committee? Not. Those in favor of appointing those previously named, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and we have those appointees. ESB.
It also looks like we need to appoint a city council liaison to downtown Main Street.
You're right, you do. That was previously filled by Councilmember Roundtree. That is correct, we do. Thank you for picking that up.
I'm here to just continue this on as long as possible.
Right.
I can't, I have too many. Do you want to do it?
Be me.
Well, actually, the request was that.
It was
I think
you.
there's a request that Councilmember Miller do it
It is the request.
until his term expires in
Yeah.
December, so.
Add it on.
Okay, great. Madam Mayor, I move that City Council appoint Councilmember Miller as the liaison to the Down Street Advisory Committee.
Jeff Miller has been nominated. Are there further nominations? Not. Those in favor of Jeff Miller as the City Council liaison to the Downtown Main Street Advisory Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it.
Let it be known, I recused myself in that vote. So.
Right, ESB, 4 city and 1 at large.
Okay,
And
this other
another
motion first.
change.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I move that City Council amend Article 4, Section 2 of the Charter of the Environmental Sustainability Board to provide a 1-year hiatus after a member serves 2 consecutive terms, as presented.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Not. Those in favor of amending the charter of the ESB, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and that is changed. Okay, we have 4 city and 1 at large.
Okay. Madam Mayor, I move that City Council appoint Virginia Teagle to the 3-year term ending June 30th, 27 for the city. I also move that we appoint Omar Zafra to a 3-year term. He's in the city. Tanya Guzman for a 3-year term, also in the city. And June Shelp for a 3-year term in the city. And then I also move that we appoint Jane Edgar to fill the at-large 3-year term.
Are there further nominations for the ESB? Not. Those in favor of the names that were mentioned, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries, and we've got those folks. Tree Board. 2 positions, 2 applicants, and a liaison.
Madam Mayor, I move that the city council appoint Melody Crawford to a 3-year term expiring in 2027, and Scott Harmon to also a 3-year term, and that we appoint Councilwoman Lindsay Simpson as the city council liaison to the tree board.
Are there further nominations for any of these tree board positions? Not. Those in favor of the appointments as listed, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Ayes have it.
No, my head hurts. It's like,
All right. Well, that wasn't too bad.
a lot.
Don't have to worry about it till what, December again? January?
We
something
get to
like
do
that?
everything.
Mayor, I need to thank City Clerk Joe Murray and City Attorney Angie Beaker. They spent a good bit of time today in the last couple of days working on this, so, and put your motion sheets together. So thank you
Thank you.
Yes,
for doing that.
that helped.
Can you imagine
Listen, it was a lot.
what it would have been like had we
Not had that.
City manager report.
Mayor Volk, members of the City Council, just want to point out the May 2024 Contingency and Adjustment Report is included in your agenda packet for your information. We'll answer any questions. And then some important dates for you. I will send this electronically to you tomorrow, but first want to recognize that tomorrow is National Donut Day.
Yeah, it is.
And there may or may not be a law enforcement presence around Dunkin' Donuts on Spartanburg Highway. Tomorrow from 7:30 to 9, we would encourage council members, if they don't have anything to do, not that you do, that you don't.
I'm sorry, which Dunkin' Donuts?
Spartanburg Highway. It may be worth your while to participate or attend 7:30 to 9. May or may not have a presence.
Are we allowed to make posts that are jokes on the internet?
Only,
Okay.
we're not doing a huge publicity thing, but just, I think it would be fun tomorrow. It will be fun tomorrow. Okay, so that is that. Secondly, with all the work you've done with board and commissions, we're doing their appreciation reception on August the 20th. From 5:30 to 7:30 at Continuum on First Avenue. Allison, Justice, and her team are working hard on that. It should be a nice event, just a social event. We will trying to use some local businesses to cater and provide refreshments there. We are working on council conversations. Again, I'll send this out between mid-August and mid-September. I think we're focusing on Tuesdays, Allison, maybe. Anyway, we're working on it. Potential locations, I request feedback after we're proposing that Councilmember Miller host the first one in the new fire station, since he won't be here after next year. Councilmember Lawrence, giving you options at St. Paul's, Union Grove, or the Boys and Girls Club we can talk about, or if there's another one you want to choose. We're proposing a Latina outreach conversation. We're going to work with our Latino outreach groups. We're proposing maybe the Catholic Church or another location. I'd like to offer that to Mayor Volk or Councilmember Hensley. I have spoken with Councilmember Simpson about doing US 64 East. I believe Councilmember Hensley did that last year on 64 East. And then we're having our annual go to a brewery trying to attract folks, and we're going to do that at Trailside this year. And again, Mayor Volker, Councilmember Hensley, those we'll
The
talk to.
breweries are always the best ones.
Well, the Catholic Church, though, they also like the wines.
That's true.
So, like, a couple of options there. Please give me your feedback. And then, I do need sooner rather than later, fire department ribbon cutting grand opening either Friday, September the 13th. That's a bad omen, isn't it? Friday the 13th. Or Friday, September 20th. We're expecting an early to mid-afternoon celebration there at the fire station. So,
20th.
20th? Okay. Does that not work for you?
I won't be here on the 13th, so
Oh, yeah, it's
I'd
20.
rather do the 20th.
All right, so Allison and Adam, Friday, September 20th. We're set. All right. What time are we thinking? 2 o'clock? 1 o'clock? We don't know yet.
Okay, I'll just block off 1 to 4.
Block off 1 to 4. Yes, yes.
It's so exciting, you guys.
It's very exciting.
So
Ham's Palace.
that is great. We're going to have to make. Yeah, that's great. So I'll send this out, important dates for you. But that's all my report there.
Council members, anything you want?
Maybe. I have one that, you go easy. My cousin texted me early this morning and said, and I asked the city manager, but he hadn't given me an answer yet. If Patton Park, is this the year that's their 50th anniversary for Patton Park? I know none of y'all are old enough to remember that, but I would like to, if we could dig and see, because he's usually pretty good. He's a retired SBI guy, and he's the one that told me that I thought this was the 50th anniversary, and I think it's worth noting if it is.
Just thought of a great idea, if it is.
I'm good.
Okay, anything else anyone has? If not, thank you.